right. Cheers, everyone. This is Amy Mitchell with Houses of Windsor, and this is Virtual Tea Time with Amy. And special guest today, my special guest is the wonderful Bill Sholk. Bill, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And so, first things first, where are you calling from and what are you drinking?
I'm calling from Altamont Springs, and I am drinking Tazo Organic Peach Cobbler Iced Tea.
Oh, wow. Oh, peach cobbler. That sounds really good.
I'm a Florida native, so I've always got iced tea in my hand or in my cup.
Very nice.
And yes, I like it flavored but not sweet.
Okay. That's a good distinction. Yeah.
Exactly. But I do brew it hot to get the full,
Oh, okay, to get it fully, like steeped.
Exactly.
So then I have to show.
And you?
So I have to show. This is my water cup. That I use this every day. This is my Bill Sholk water cup that I won at BNI.
Absolutely. Everybody who closes well, not that we know what I do yet, but everybody closes a mortgage, they get one as well.
Oh, okay. Oh, nice. That's a very nice cup. And I am also calling from Altamont Springs. We're probably not far. I'm over by Crane's Roost.
So am I.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my office is right in the corner of the Altamont Mall parking lot. Right on.
Oh my god. That's hilarious. I'm like right by the Embassy Suites. So that's I didn't know we were that close.
I'll just stick my head out the window and I'll yell at you.
I know, we could have just done this in person. That's hilarious. But so Altamont Springs, and I'm drinking French blend out of one of my favorite teacups, my queen teacup that says "Long May She Reign."
It's a beautiful cup.
Thank you. And so, Bill, we know each other through people who have watched some of my other shows or just watched my posts have probably heard me talk about BNI or seen BNI pop up. I am fully in on BNI. So let's see. So, Bill, I've known you for a little over a year now then, because I just had my renewal.
Right.
Yes. So for those of you who don't know, BNI is a networking group, and we meet. Well, we used to meet in person in Maitland, but now we meet virtually, and it's still just as good. We still keep our energy, up virtually. And so, Bill, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do? What are you in that group for?
Sure. I do residential mortgages. I've done this is my 32nd year doing it here in Altamont Springs, and I help people buy houses, condominiums, anything residential that you can live in. I help them get the mortgage for it.
Okay, awesome. And how long did you say you've been doing this?
32 years.
32 years? Nice. Yes. And so, how'd you get into that?
Good question. I went to University of Florida and got a business degree, graduated with a marketing degree, and kind of had 3 or 4 options of what to do. I chose the banking route, and then as part of the training program, we covered mortgages. And I did the whole branch manager thing for a couple of years here, realized that I liked the mortgage specifically doing, and just ended up meeting somebody who was in the business, became a partner with him, and been doing it ever since. So, wow. Yeah, I've rode the highs and the lows.
That's what I was saying. Yeah, you've been through.
Yes, the craziness where anybody and everybody got a mortgage, and then right after that where nobody got a mortgage, and now we're back to a nice even where the people who deserve to get a mortgage get them, and right now you get that at a very low rate. So
okay, that's good.
So that's kind of a win-win at the moment, and
right.
I enjoy it. I like working with first-time home buyers, walking them through the process, going from understanding of renting to really growing themselves and able to financially put themselves in a better position by owning a home. So I really enjoy doing it.
That's pretty cool. So how do okay. I was married. When I was married, we did buy a house,
yes.
But pretty much my husband did everything and just told me where to sign. So I don't really know how it all works. But how does one, like when they're in the home buying process, at what point are they calling you? Like,
that's a great.
What step are you?
Yeah, typically I'm first, and most realtors will tell them before you even start looking at a house, you need to find out if you do qualify, but just as important, make sure that the house budget that you think you want to spend equals the home that they're looking at. So the worst thing is you can, want to spend X dollars, but want a house that's 2 or 3 times where that payment range might be. So we're able to sit down with them, look at it as a whole package and picture, and say, if you want to get to this point or this number or this monthly payment, here's the price range you need to be looking in. And then also we can be creative if they need some help with closing costs, work with the realtor or the lender to help get some closing costs paid by them. So we really start them at the beginning of the process. Once they're done, have a pre-approval letter, know their numbers, they can then go look at a house anywhere. It doesn't matter what type it is. They're all set and fully pre-approved. So
okay. So your first stop.
I'm usually first up, exactly.
That makes sense. Or you should be the first stop.
Exactly. Then key is make sure they're working with a good realtor, and from there they can absolutely take it. And we work in combination all the way through the process.
Okay, very cool. So thank you for telling me a little bit about what you do, but that's not what we're here to talk about today.
That's right.
So Bill, the question is, what is your special interest or hobby or obsession? What's your thing?
Sure. Well, I won't say young ladies with pink hair because that, well, you already did that for me.
Yeah, and I freshened it up this morning.
I like it.
Thank you.
Really what I enjoy doing is a combination of two things, saltwater fishing and traveling.
Okay.
Some might say the saltwater fishing, not quite an obsession, but I try to get out at least once a month, if not more, anywhere all over the state. I like to travel to do it. Part of it being is there's different types of fishing that are better at different times of year in different places. So I've owned a boat for many years, and I was happy. I'm happy now to no longer own a boat.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask, if you had a boat. Yeah.
Yeah, I've looked at charter fishing guides all up and down the state and other parts of the country, and enjoy spending time traveling to those. I did that with my father, and he did it with his father, and now my son and daughter as well both really enjoy it. So
that's really cool.
Trips to Costa Rica and to Belize, Panama, and a number of places, with the fishing being the excuse to go, and then really spending the time and getting to see the culture and learning all about the country as well. Is nice secondary benefit.
So when you travel to those places, are you going by boat the whole way, or are you flying?
No, we'll fly there and just meet wherever we're going to fish.
Right. Okay.
We enjoy doing the traveling inside the country and spending time.
And do you bring all of your fishing equipment? Like, you fly with it?
Great question. Yeah. About half the time, yes, and half the time, no. Okay. Depends if we're going. Some of the lodges that we'll go to are more established and they have everything, and some are really rustic, where you're getting a cabin and a stove, and then you catch your own fish. So it gives you more incentive to catch a fish that night, because otherwise you're eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. So has that advantage to it. But been able to see some beautiful places and just really meet some great people all over the world. So it's been nice.
And you've been doing that since you were a kid, right? Because you said your dad and his dad.
I took my first trip to Costa Rica when I was 10.
Whoa.
And that's back when, Costa Rica was not like it is today.
Yeah.
So it's been fun to watch that go from.
That's amazing.
They were really excited to see an American or somebody speaking English was a big deal. To now, right, having been there a number of times since then, right, to see how they've developed a great eco and a great overall tourist options for people.
Right. Yeah. Oh, that is neat. So did your grandfather also do Costa Rica trips, or did he go somewhere else?
He did not. My father and I did.
Okay.
My grandfather, he took my dad, as my dad would explain it, in an 8-foot rowboat in the middle of Sheepshead Bay, New York, which basically, as he explained it, you were just sitting there riding the waves all day long. You were there to catch your fish. You did your 8 hours in the cold with the big fur and all on. So
oh my gosh.
Luckily, he met my mom in Miami Beach, and I'm a Florida native, so I got lucky. I won the weather lottery by that means as well.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, that does not sound fun.
No, it didn't sound like any fun at all to me either, for sure.
Oh my gosh, that's great. So what, I guess, like, what kind of fish do you catch? Like, if you're in Florida versus Costa Rica, like, what are the kinds that are like the jackpot fish? Like, what are you going for?
Well, I think the fish they call billfish, that would be a sailfish, a marlin, the things you may have seen that have like a top and long beaked nose.
Yeah.
Those are sort of the trophy fish.
Okay.
There's 7 or 8 species. I've caught 5 of them. So
cool.
Release them all, which is fun. The majority of fish that I catch, I release. I just enjoy being out in the water.
Yeah.
The fishing part is fun. Catching is a bonus. I like it's just really being out in the water. Locally here, I fish out of Ponce Inlet and New Smyrna Beach out of it. So I enjoy doing that just with some local guides, and I've got a number of friends that will rotate, and once a month or so at least we'll go out, and said it's just fun to be out and see everything from. I was just out last Friday, social distancing, of course, and just while we were out fishing, we saw manatees, we saw dolphins, we saw roseate spoonbills and pelicans.
Oh, I love those. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Really cool birds, and so really on top of it is just sort of the nature part is great, and then the fishing part is really kind of a bonus that we really enjoy getting.
Right. That's really fun. So you say, so you don't have a boat anymore. No. So what do? You have friends with boats?
No, actually, I charter. I go with guides who do it professionally.
Oh, okay.
So I am supporting them, which I feel good about, and also knowing how much actual boat ownership costs between maintenance and upkeep and all.
Right.
It's nice. I can hop on the boat. They know where the fish are because this is all they do for a living.
Right.
Get off the boat, we clean the fish. I don't have to clean the boat. I'm gone. Right. The numbers make sense for me. I can go twice a month and still be cheaper than owning a boat. So
right.
That part of it. And enjoy other traveling. My wife and I have traveled to a number of places as well. She doesn't enjoy the fishing as much, but we enjoy traveling. So the last couple of years we've done some bucket list trips, which have been very nice.
Oh, nice. So where have you guys gone? What are your bucket list trips?
We went on a safari 2 years ago, which was always something we wanted to do. We love animals, and so we spent 8 days going to 4 different parks in 2 countries.
Oh, wow.
We really got a chance to get real close to which was nice. It wasn't a park where they're trapped or enclosed. They keep you enclosed inside a fenced area because they're not.
Oh,
which is
right.
When you go out, you get to see all the animals doing the wild things they do, and that's really that was a great trip. We enjoyed, and then we did Fiji for our 50th.
Oh, nice.
Which was nice. That was really one of those unique trips to do as well.
Right. Is that the one? Does Fiji have like the little huts over water or no?
Right.
Exactly. Yes. Okay.
Exactly. The whole beach basically there's 20 people at the whole resort, and it was just really, it was one of those, you knew it was magical, which was the fun part.
Right.
I also like to scuba dive, so it was nice. I was able to.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah, I was able to scuba dive there, which was fun, and like to include that when I can on vacations as well.
So do you do any scuba diving around Florida?
Yes, actually, yeah. I've got a group. We go to Fort Lauderdale every year. There's some wrecks and reefs down there that we like, so we'll go there. And I've also gone down the Keys as well and scuba dive.
Oh, that's really fun. So how long have you been scuba diving then?
When my son turned 14, he's now 29. That's the age that you're allowed to do it. So that was my good excuse. So it was about 15 years ago.
Okay.
So yeah, we do around Florida. I've got a friend who every year we go to one of the Caribbean islands and we'll dive. We'll go for a week.
Super cool.
So I've gotten to see all the different small islands all over. And in general, people who scuba dive are a pretty nice group of people because for the most part, they're willing to take the energy and time to just be underwater for an hour or 2 at a time, just looking at nature and stuff. Fish. So as a rule, you just don't find too many scuba divers that aren't generally pretty easygoing and a nice group. So I've got a chance over the years to meet a lot of people on those trips, and yeah.
That's really good. That's interesting. An interesting point to make. I don't know what scuba divers I know. I probably know some.
Right? There's probably.
But I like that you say, that if they're willing to spend a couple hours underwater just looking at stuff, they're probably pretty easygoing.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of a serene and a calm, to it. Yeah. You're just there because you want to enjoy it and to be around it, and
right. So. That's really neat. Have you ever had any scary scuba stories? Like with wildlife or with equipment?
Right. No, the sharks are not looking to bother you. We've seen barracuda. It all looks on TV and they make movies out of it. But the reality is if they see you, they'll move the other direction.
Oh, okay.
But I will tell you, when my friend and I, one of our first diving trips, we got certified and they teach you most of the how to survive and all those important things. We were in Cayman Islands and we went down. You go under with, sometimes there's a guide. You always go with a buddy, but sometimes there's a guide down there who will sort of take you through if they want to see specific things. And sometimes you just go off on your own. And he and I sort of went off on our own. And while we had a compass, we probably didn't know how to use it as well as we could have. So you look and when your airtime, because you keep track of it, you come up with plenty of airtime. So we were swimming and we swimming towards a boat. And so we popped up next to that boat. And after a minute or two, realized after we were floating, filled up our everything, that was not, in fact, our boat. Our boat was between a quarter and half a mile in the other direction. So at that point, the people on the other boat, they have to come pick you up, of course, even though they're affiliated with the place.
Yeah,
so they have to pick us up. They have to radio the other boat. Hey, we've got a couple of your loser client divers on our boat, and we're going to have to. So the other boat has to come over to get you. Later, it's then the walk of shame. It's the captain gets shamed because he lost 2 of his divers. So really,
my gosh. Right.
Definitely not his fault. So in the walk of shame, when we have to walk from our boat, hop on, of course, the other boat, our whole boat's been waiting. The 2 people show up. They don't know where we are. So once they find out we're safe, then they realize, oh, you're safe. You're just an idiot. So we got the walk of shame from our boat. We didn't know any of this, off to this other boat. Now that we do, we laugh and say, wow, that was pretty bad, because we see other people do it now and you laugh.
Oh, right.
That was our funniest diving experience we still got. And the whole rest of the time we were there, one of the guys from our boat kept trying to teach us how to use our compass. And one of those people who on them to make sure that we were okay going forward. So that was my best. That was our fun, really good, funny. We've seen a lot of fun things under there, but yes, that was
That's good. Well, that's a good, not so scary story for scuba diving, because you at least came up to a boat. You didn't come up to nothing.
Exactly. We were targeting what we thought was, no, not so much.
Oh my gosh, that's really good. So from then on, you knew how to use your compass?
Yes, from now on, we don't get lost anymore. So it's true that learning a lesson that way with no harm, exactly, always get back to where we started.
Oh my gosh. So where would you, let's see. So for people who are interested in starting either the saltwater fishing or the scuba diving in Florida, where's a good place to start for beginners?
Sure. What's nice is locally, there's a number of dive shops. As far as first, you actually take a 2-weekend course. Mm-hmm. Generally, it's over a 2-weekend course. And you do book work. You have to learn how to use tables that show you based on how long and how deep you're underwater, how long you have to then stay on top of the water before you can go do a second dive.
Oh, okay.
So computers that do it for you now, but as they should for the class, they do it the old school way. So you learn that. And then you go through a series of checkout dives. You start in a swimming pool that way. And then you work way up to a springs, which is 25 feet or deeper. Okay. And then you have a final one where you actually go out generally in the ocean. So they want to make sure you can do all. And they do all different things, from taking your mask off to just making sure that once you've done all that, it's hard to beat the Florida Keys for all of that. In terms of the best fishing and scuba diving. There are some individual places in the state that are good, but once you're down within the Florida Keys, there's just so many great dive sites, from reefs and wrecks, and similarly, the fishing down there is amazing. So people come from all over the world just to come down the Florida Keys to fish. So we try to get down there once every year or two as well to take advantage of it. But it's a great place to learn and to start. And I'd say start snorkeling if you like it and feel comfortable.
Okay, yeah.
It's a good way to do it. Some people feel claustrophobic in the wetsuit, or that just not a comfortable feeling, and that
I've done snorkeling and I don't like it.
Right. And that I know many people. I've got close friends who are similar, and it's just a matter exactly of how
I'm a person, I don't like being forced to breathe out of my mouth. Breathing in and out.
There you go. That's definitely not a good thing.
And I do not like the taste of salt. I never salt my food. It's fine if it's already on it. But so when I was using the equipment or whatever, we were in Curacao, and I put it in my mouth, and it was oh my God, that was so much salt. It was so gross.
Definitely.
So I couldn't get past the taste.
You're tasting it for a week after you go, for sure. But you picked a great place. Curaçao's actually that's a great place to snorkel.
Yeah. Well, I didn't make it very long. Yeah.
That was your favorite place to not snorkel.
Well, exactly. It's the best place to try to snorkel if you're gonna try.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you don't like that, so
that's great. So what is it? I have a random scuba question. So I've heard of the bins, right? The bins. What is that?
So that is when somebody doesn't pay attention to those guides and those things. What happens is as you're breathing in air, Part of what you're breathing through your scuba is you're breathing a nitrogen. It's a mix of that. So what happens is if your body doesn't have enough time to get rid of that, you get rid of that by being up on top of on land, on the boat, above water. You have time for that. That naturally gets released from your body.
Okay.
However, if you don't give enough time for it to get released and you go back down, and that accumulates in your body, it literally, the bubbles that are in there will literally bend your body into it. Many people here die from it.
Yeah.
But again, it's an extreme situation where you're diving very deep. It's 100 feet or more. And it's if you're just not following it. And if you go with a commercial boat, they know because they're taking you out in that water, and they know how much time you need up above. Sometimes some guys do commercial diving, like if they're welding, very well, they're very deep, and sometimes happen to them, but you rarely will hear about it from just a recreational diver doing it.
Okay.
With somebody, or they should have the right equipment that tells you how long you need to be up on top of the water. But it is definitely something that if you don't get into a special hyperbaric chamber, that now that you can use all these other things, people athletes are using those to regenerate quicker, and a number of them, I know they actually bring them with them. Some NBA players bring with them because it does enrich the body so much with oxygen.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they'll actually, and they will sleep. Some of them's been out. I know Kobe Bryant for years did, a number of other players. And they really, it's an actual biological thing where you get that much more oxygen in your system. So, but normally that's what somebody would have to get into if they have the bends. They've only got a short window. Otherwise, your body literally.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so something to definitely avoid. Also, the day before you're getting ready to fly, they don't recommend you dive. Similar reason, because your body metabolism changes. It's different when you're up above a certain height in terms of that. So divers know the last day you don't typically
you got to space it out.
Or go shallow. Yeah, not so.
Right. So when you're doing like the, diving on the wrecks and stuff in the Keys, how deep is that? Like, how deep do you have to go for the shipwrecks?
Good question. They typically start in 40 to 60 feet. There's some that go down as far as a couple 100 feet. I'm usually comfortable. I don't go much. I try to stay up 120 and below. 120 and above. The other thing about it is that the deeper you go, the less time you can spend down there, because you actually breathe much more quickly and your air tank empty much quicker the deeper you are. So if you're in 30 feet of water, you can stay under for about an hour 15 minutes on average. If you're in 100 feet of water, you've only got about 20 minutes of downtime.
Okay.
And you would run out of air. So the other reason I like to do shallow is I'd rather spend more. You can find a place where you can stay down more. Rather than those who are very experienced, people who really love, the thrill and need it, will go down really deep for a period of time and do it. So it's a mix.
Right.
I need to find a wreck or a reef that's not quite as deep.
Right. And so what kind of wrecks are they? Are they like old-timey wrecks, or are they like somewhat recent? And what caused the wreck?
Yeah, exactly. And a wreck can be, there's some that are done intentionally, some that are sunk strictly for purposes of fishing and diving.
Oh, okay.
Right, which is kind of cool.
That's funny. Yeah, I didn't know that.
The majority of them, though, are ones that some are down in the Keys. There's a lot of ones that are airplanes, small airplanes that have crashed.
Oh, wow.
Small ones, and then there's also large ones I've seen some from World War II, where ships got from both sides have gotten hit, torpedo, or just others that are hit against the reefs back when they were a little higher, and you'll see some of those down there as well, and you'll see different halves and just some real cool stuff. Living, you'll anything from you may see a number of eels, you may see large fish and whole schools of fish that are living in there. Lots of turtles, which is really great. I love seeing the turtles underwater.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
That really is a fun bonus when you.
Are they giant down there? Like, are they always big turtles? Or they're no? Okay.
Nope. I've seen some. A lot of you have some smaller loggerhead. I've also seen some leatherbacks, which are 8 feet across or 10 feet across. It's amazing when you look at them. You're looking at something that just hasn't really evolved over the last how many hundreds of years. I'm sure they're looking at the same thing. It just is this stuff. Right now some of them live long 60, 80 years. So it's pretty cool to think what they've seen and done.
That's pretty cool. So
there's no enemies when they get that big. So there's nobody for the most part that are looking at them as a meal.
Right. They're too giant to mess with.
Exactly. So I've seen a lot of fun things right down there as well.
That's really cool. So I'm going to ask you a question that I asked, let's see, Nate Webster. I surprised him with this question. It's one I want to start putting into everyone's interview.
Okay, I like it.
But I'm thinking of it because you're talking about like planes going down and ships and stuff. So I was thinking, are there ghosts underwater? So the question is, do you have any like creepy, spooky, paranormal stories, aliens, anything in your lifetime that you want to share that you're like holding back on us?
Wow, that's a really good question.
Because I love these kinds of stories. It's not what people normally talk about.
No, exactly. But everybody's got one of those hidden in the somewhere in the recesses.
Exactly.
Of the mind there.
Yeah, and Nate didn't have one, but he explained basically how in psychology, sort of the history of, it's almost like that's how the history of psychology came to be, because they used to think, well, people are possessed, but really they were bipolar. Like, so there was like a psychology that goes with it. But yeah, but I was like, well, that doesn't explain apparitions.
Nope, exactly. You're talking your science, non-science. It's hard to.
I know.
Exactly. He's good at what he does. It's hard, right, to get them out of that open mind. Yeah. I would love to have a great one for you, but I don't.
No? Okay. And no one ever has any creepy ones down in the water? I've never heard of any creepy ones, but it seems like there should be.
Somebody grabbing you or pulling, right, exactly, pulling on your cord.
Yeah, right.
I don't have.
All right. Well, you have to let me know if you have one.
I've come around the corner and diving down into a dark hole, if you will, and got down into the well. Mm-hmm. And as I was swimming, I looked over. There was this 300-pound Goliath grouper that I spooked him. Took me a minute because his head is like this. Its mouth is like, I mean, they're known for being relatively gentle. They don't mess with people, but hiding back there, and he was more than twice the size of me. So I definitely lost a little bit there. We had to make sure that when we got back towards the top that we checked our wetsuit to make sure, but it was definitely a little bit frightening. I definitely didn't expect to see that. So that was my favorite wow moment under there. Was pitch black and then just seeing eyes realizing
that's amazing. I didn't know they got that big. That's crazy.
Yeah, actually they get 500 and 600 pounds, but it's definitely one of those.
Is that the same grouper? Like if you get grouper at a restaurant?
It's in the same family.
Okay.
Yes. These are completely protected because years ago they were killed to almost extinction.
Okay.
So now they've grown so prolific that there's a lot of reefs where no matter what kind of fish you're trying to catch, snapper, they will eat every single fish. If you watch, you can actually see them. You bring the fish up if you're trying to catch it, and then you actually just see them come right up and eat it. And they have no fear because they've learned that you can't, even if you try to catch them, you're not allowed to even bring them out of the water. So,
oh my God.
Yes. So there's some. So I've seen a lot of them since from up above, but that was definitely not what I expected to see literally in my face.
That's hilarious.
That was fun, but yeah, a little freaky the first time, that's for sure.
Oh my gosh, that's really good. Yeah, I can't imagine anything being like 300 pounds coming at you in the water.
It's like you see all these pretty little fish and everything's like this, and all of a sudden, this thing, exactly, his eyeballs are bigger than mine.
That's
you were probably as scared as I was. I don't know if you saw exactly, but
I
didn't go back past the second time. That was it.
Oh my gosh, that's really funny.
Got the heart pumping.
Yeah. So you said you like traveling, so I have to ask, have you ever been to the United Kingdom, to England or anything?
Yes, absolutely. Yes? I've been to the United Kingdom. We went on our honeymoon, my wife and I did.
Oh, really? Oh, cool. Yeah. So how was that? Like, how long did you guys stay?
Well, we actually been twice. We once did the typical England thing, the London thing, I should say, where we did all the tourists, saw everything from the palace to the clock and and then we have close friends from here who moved to Australia many years ago, and then for 2 years they were transferred to England and to the UK, and so we went and visited and spent a week with them.
Oh,
and
nice.
We went punting got to learn how to punting on the Thames, got to learn how to
oh, really?
Gondolier,
Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to do professionally. That's why I kept bumping into the side. It was always turned the wrong direction. but we got to explore the British Museum, and they were renting, and it was interesting. They were renting it was an old farmhouse basically on a bigger property. The ceilings were super low. They were like maybe 5.5 or 6 feet. We're like, why are they so low? And said, well, whoever was building it basically was the height of the person who's building it, the piece of wood they had, so everything in there was that. Yeah, so it was fun to see that. From there, I got to do some of the local stuff, go to the pubs every night. You know, that's where everybody has their dinner and all. So it was fun to do it a little bit more natively the second time with them.
Yeah, that is nice to have. Yeah, a bit outside, of both.
Some of the outside, I see some cities that were outside of the main ones that people travel to. So I always had a great time.
What time of year were you there for both trips?
It was their spring, so it was,
it
was nice, light jacket kind of thing.
Okay, very nice.
We saw the sun at least twice.
Okay, so that's pretty good. Yeah. I was like, if you go in the summer, like I mean, I've gotten a sunburn before. I mean, the sun really does come out in the summer.
The time that we went, we caught that heat wave that years ago, where like cows in France were just plopping over and dying. We got caught there during that. So, and there was the hotel we were staying at for one of the times. There was no air conditioning, so we were able to get a fan that they lent us, but it was just moving the hot air all around.
Oh, geez.
So I remember we went and saw a double feature of a movie. We stayed for both of them just to get the cool air. We really had no idea what it was. Maybe been a cartoon. It was the only place cool in the city. So yeah. I geared up. We did the bullet train going from one area to another as well during that. So it was fun getting to explore that.
Yeah. That is really fun. Well, it's funny you mentioned the doorways because when I was talking with Nate Webster, he and his wife had been over there because she actually studied over there. But I was laughing because, Nate's rather tall. And I said, how'd you do in England with all those doorways? And he's like, they were made for, like the short men and like this, 1600s or whatever.
Exactly.
And so he had to remember to duck a lot because I was like, it didn't bother, every once in a while I had to watch my head, but other than that, Nate can't fit through anything.
No, 6 foot anything is not a good fit for the UK, not at all.
Yeah, but so that was funny.
Sure, it had to be right. Just got to keep remembering wherever you go, duck.
That's right. Yeah, don't trust the doorway. So did you have any favorite like touristy spot that you remember? Like, was there something that you thought was pretty cool?
We did. I remember we walked the tower. We walked all the way up to up through a very large.
Oh yeah.
The towers that was
like the bridge.
I know.
Or do you remember
the bridge? Which
the clock tower. Oh okay. Oh Big Ben. Oh okay. Yeah, in Parliament.
Yes.
Yeah, the one that's attached. Yeah. Okay. Oh, so you went up there?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
That was exactly. It was see the view from there was fun. We did the London Eye. That was back when it was the only eye around, so it was kind of cool.
Yep. I agree. Yeah.
So exactly, we all enjoyed that a lot. But just being more out in the we travel, we try to enjoy some of the native experiences or do things that aren't necessarily on the tourist track. So we did enjoy getting out to Stratford on Avon.
Oh yeah.
They put a play on and they let each time that our kids got to act in the play. So that was fun.
That's cool.
Yes, that was our kids remember that. We had some great pictures from doing that as well. So that was fun.
Right. That's pretty cool. So for those of you who don't know, Stratford upon Avon is the home of Shakespeare, right? So it's like I remember we went on one of our trips and toured like the house and they have like the thatch roofs, the roofs.
Yes.
And it's like you had to have the covering over your bed because like little bugs and things would fall through.
Right. Exactly. You learn all these facts that we take for granted now, the things that was just every day for them.
Right. Yeah. It's like gross. Stuff coming through the roof. Exactly. Yeah. But
like nice hiking. Yeah, it's nice hiking through there as well. So
yeah, I feel like all the trails, like they just, I don't know, everything's, well, of course, and it's me, so I think everything there is perfect.
Understood.
But that's cool though that you got to do all that. And you mentioned that it was when London Eye, it was the only eye that was up. So my very first trip that started my whole obsession was the summer of 2000, and that was when the millennia so it was the London Eye was up, and Millennium Dome, like all these things that were supposed to be up only for the year. Like that's what they all said. So it's like we all thought we were only getting, like that was the only time. And then they kept them all up. They probably realized like what a waste.
You were the first ones on it, not the only ones.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we were still the first ones. So I just thought it was funny because it's funny, like, yeah, but it's kind of like, well, yeah, no wonder they kept it up. Why would you take all of that down?
When you start realizing it costs $200 million now to put one of those up, they're not taking that down.
No, absolutely not. Yeah.
Exactly. So, that was at the time, that was pretty amazing.
Yes.
I've done that 3 or 4 cities now, just because it's there.
Right. Because where are the other? I mean, I know Orlando has one, but where are the other ones?
Las Vegas. Okay. I did one in Chicago.
Really? Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. They do have the big one. Yeah.
And there's only one. They're the ones that I.
Okay.
I think I'm sure there's a couple more.
Right. Do you know the one in London? That one's the biggest, right? Or it's bigger than Orlando, right?
I think so. Man, a couple
they're
hundred.
All big. Right. Yeah.
But, right. They go. But the one here in Orlando, it's kind of, there's not much to see. This is what I think you're seeing out more. Here, it's like, wow, if you could see the Epcot ball, or maybe that looks like this Kennedy Space Center, but it's not really ideal for seeing.
Right. Much. Yeah. Now I need to.
I'm sure you're gonna get a nasty comment from somebody.
I know. Well, that's what I'm saying. I need to look it up because I can't even remember who it was. Someone was talking to me about it, and they're like, well, the Orlando Eye is bigger than the London Eye. I was like, no, it's not. It's like, there's no way that's true.
There's really nothing to see. The one from England, you're seeing all the outskirts, you see all the farms.
Yeah. So it's like
scrub. You're just seeing a whole lot of scrub.
Right. So of course, I'm like, nah, London's better. So that's why I was like, it's bigger, right? I think it's bigger.
I got to know better than to mess with you in England. Do not.
I know. Well, they were trying. They were provoking me.
Oh. You got them with facts at the end, though.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's awesome. Well, okay, so Bill, I want to thank you for being on the show. This has been really fun. And my final question is, do you have any last words?
Just enjoy life every day. Enjoy the people you're with. That's all that's the best I've got.
That's your motto? Okay. I like it.
Exactly.
I like it. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. So thank you everyone for watching live, and thank you for watching this, into infinity, because it's going up on YouTube. So
the grandchildren. I like it.
Yeah, that's right. So Amy Mitchell with Houses of Windsor. This has been Virtual Tea Time with Amy, and my special guest today was Bill Sholk of Contemporary Mortgage and of saltwater fishing and scuba diving and traveling.
Perfect.
All right. And no ghost stories. No. Just large fish.
Exactly.
All right. Awesome. Well, I'll see you Wednesday, Bill.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye, everyone.